required under the Planning Act. This public meeting is required under the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments for a property located on Silver Street for a proposed warehouse use. Before we begin, members of the public are advised that only specific stakeholders, including the applicant, the minister, public bodies, or a specified person as defined by the Planning Act, and or the registered owner of any land to which the zoning bylaw or official plan amendment would apply, may appeal council's decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Further, if a person or public body does not make oral submission at the public meeting or make written submission to the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas before the amendments are passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal, unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are no reasonable grounds to do so. Those wanting to be notified of council's decision on any application should email customer service at customerservice@stthomas.ca, indicating which public meeting they wish to be notified on and providing their name and address. Those who do not have access to a computer and wish to be notified should call customer service at 519-631-1680, extension 0, and provide the same information. Does any member of council have a disclosure of interest concerning any of the matters on the agenda? Seeing none, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting?
Your worship, notice was provided in the St. Thomas Times Journal on Friday, April the 11th, 2025, and in accordance with council policies, notice was also mailed to property owners within 120 meters of the subject property.
Thank you. I will now introduce the Manager of Planning Services, Michelle Neriam, who will provide background information on the proposal and present the draft bylaws.
Through you, your worship, you stole my thunder. I was going to introduce Michelle, but thank you very much. Just for the benefit of councillors that haven't met Michelle over the past couple of weeks, Michelle is our new Manager of Planning Services. We're very excited and lucky to have her here with us, and not only in our department, but working for the City of St. Thomas. So Michelle's going to be doing the presentation today, and I'll be helping with any questions if there are any from council or members of the public. So thank you, your worship.
Welcome.
Thank you, your worship. So thank you so much, everyone. So we're here tonight for the draft official plan and zoning bylaw amendment meeting for city-owned lands at Silver Street. So, sorry, it's not. Sorry, it's not letting me move slides. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Okay, so the lands are located here. You'll see that they are just south of Silver Street and east of Burwell Road. It's approximately a 2.5 hectare site. So to the north of the subject lands and the northeast, we have some business industrial uses. Further north, we have One Password Park. And also to the northeast, we have a pedestrian path connecting up to One Password Park. To the east, we have a new Maxhill warehouse that is being built by Maxhill. And that site was actually subject to an official plan and zoning bylaw amendment back in 2023, which I'll speak about on the next slide that some of you may remember. To the south, there's a Hydro One maintenance yard, there's the community recycling depot, and there's a fire station. And to the west, on the west side of Burwell, we have some residential uses. So you can actually see here, so I've included a map of the existing official plan. So the subject site is currently designated St. Thomas Outdoor Recreational Complex, or STORC Complex for short. It's surrounded by some, in the light gray, business employment uses. In the dark gray, you'll see those are employment uses. So those are sort of some of the more heavier industries. And in the yellow to the west, we have the residential designation. So the subject site was actually, it used to be designated residential or industrial, but then in 2018, when the city was doing its employment lands review, It got redesignated to the Stork Complex because it was intended for the planned outdoor soccer facility, such as we have built out up at One Password Park. So the lands to the east, they were also originally part of that Stork Complex designation, but back in 2023, there was an official plan amendment and a rezoning to allow those lands to be for the new warehouse facility being built there. So the subject lands, following that official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment next door, the subject lands were reviewed for affordable and supportive housing in a report done by Dillon Consulting. They were determined to not be suitable for residential uses because of compatibility issues with the employment uses. So it was actually recommended that they'd be better suited as business employment to help provide that buffer. So the Economic Development Corporation has identified actually now that there's a potential user for the subject lands for a warehouse space, which is why this proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments have come forward. So just a bit of an overview. So the official plan amendment is to redesignate the lands from St. Thomas Outdoor Recreation Complex, or STORC, to business employment to allow for a range of light industrial, office, and service commercial uses. And the rezoning is to rezone the lands from regional recreational facilities to business employment land zone to permit a variety of light industrial and commercial uses, including the proposed warehouse. So I'm just very briefly going to provide an overview of the amendment. So this would be the technical elements of the amendment. So this would be official plan amendment number 114 to the official plan. And you'll see in the next slide, there's the map. And so you'll see that it's amendment 114. Going from Stork Complex to business employment. And here is of the proposed amendment. You'll see it's turned to gray for that business employment designation. And the amendment would be in accordance with the respective policies in the official plan. In terms of the zoning bylaw, so the lands would be a new special zoning map 318, and they'd be shown as BEL. With a heavy line, and they'd be subject to all the business employment land provisions in the zoning bylaw. So here's that map. And they would also be an amendment to the zoning map 3, which to show those lands just in anticipation of the eventual consolidation of bylaw 5088 with all the amendments to that bylaw. So here is, you can see that map. So that concludes the presentation. If there's any questions, we are happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, have you received any written submissions on the proposed changes?
Your worship, we have received no written submissions.
Now I will focus on council if they have any questions, and if so, please raise your hand. Councillor Wookie.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I was on the committee that worked on the Stork Complex. This was designed, this whole property was designed to be an indoor turf facility. That was the original point of saving this land. This land is in a very strategic spot for the city of St. Thomas. With all due regard to people who might want to buy it to make it into a warehouse, that's fine. I'm looking out for the next 50 years in St. Thomas. And there are needs that we're going to have in this community that are going to arise that we need to bank land for, especially land like that fronting on Burwell and not hidden behind something. My point is, and I've said this to the city manager and anybody who will listen, we need to acquire land for future uses that we do not know exactly what they are right now. For instance, not limited to a future library site. Well, when's that going to happen? I don't know. In 30 years, our needs are going to be very different, and we'll have no land. We'll have no land. We're going to be buying land and tearing down houses. We'll be expropriating land 30 years from now to build city facilities. And here we have a perfectly good piece of land, but we just have to resist using it right now. I'm okay with where Maxwell's expanding to the east because it's not fronting on Burwell Road. This piece of land is strategic. So I don't like this at all. I don't want a warehouse there. I want to save it for us, a daycare. I don't care what it is, but some municipal facility that we are going to need, I promise you, in the next 30 years. And God knows I might still be on council in 30 years. I know there's lots of people that hope that's not the case, but there's my opposition to it. I think for our long-term benefit, This specific property should be kept in our ownership and frankly not used. And we could, if we want to cut it and make it into a field and people fly kites, great. And like I said, I was okay with it to the east being sold to Maxwell because that's back on a Masco. It's not on the street, it's back. But this is what happens next. This is the problem, is once you say yes to A, you're really saying yes to B. And no offense to any business owners in town, that's why I opposed option A, because I could see that option B was going to happen, and here it is. Whether it's an indoor recreation facility or something else, again, that's why. It's nothing against any business owners wanting a warehouse. It's me looking out for the long-term interests of St. Thomas, and I'm talking like 30 years from now. And that's my challenge, and that's my problem I have with this. Of course, I respect my council colleagues to feel very differently than I do. Thank you.
Any further comments from members of council? Thank you. We will now open the meeting to questions from the public. For those attending who have not already submitted their concerns or comments to the city. If you are listening on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, please click the raise hand icon. And if you have called into the meeting using your telephone, please dial 9. The questions will be taken in sequential order. When given the opportunity to speak, please provide your name and address for the clerk's record. Seeing none, do any council members or any member of the public have any further questions? I believe everyone has been given a fair opportunity to express their views. If there are no further questions, please be advised that any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the passing of a bylaw for the proposed amendments should email customer service at customerservice@stthomas.ca and provide their name and address. Those who do not have access to a computer in which to be notified should call customer service at 519-631-1680, extension 0, and provide the same information. This public meeting is now concluded.
And for the members of council online, if you could sign back in for the closed session. Thank you.